Liberation and Leadership, distinguished participants in media, most importantly, the young people in diaspora who are here presently but also online. Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, good morning. My name is Mandisa Mashologo, and I'm the UNDP resident representative. I think the MC was giving me a promotion or something.
Welcome.
But good morning to all of you. MC, did you not say that when we have youth, they're going to be vibrant and engaging? And I'm not feeling it.
Well, that was my introduction. I said I'm expecting heated conversations today because you're all young people and you have to lead the way. Good morning. Better.
Much better. But I think maybe you're saving yourselves for the deliberations that we're going to have today, and I think they're going to be very, very exciting and engaging. It truly is an honor for me to join today in this important hybrid stakeholder forum on transitional justice, youth, and diaspora engagement, an initiative proudly supported by the United Nations Development Programme through our post-TRRC project. We have our project manager here with us, Edouard, and his team, which is jointly implemented by UNDP and OHCHR. Today's gathering represents not merely a continuation of our journey towards justice and reconciliation in the Gambia, but a pivotal moment where we are intentionally focusing on amplifying the voices that have frequently been marginalized. As we reflect on the progress made since the conclusion of the TRRC, it is important to acknowledge that the path towards sustainable peace is gradual and it takes time. It requires collective and ongoing effort, continuous inclusive dialogue, and the courage to willingly address painful truths while planning for the country's future. This hybrid stakeholder forum demonstrates our shared commitment. It is especially encouraging that so many young people from across the Gambia and the diaspora are participating both virtually and in person, to shape a transitional justice process and journey that is inclusive, forward-looking, and truly transformative. At UNDP, we strongly believe that peace cannot be achieved without the meaningful inclusion of all voices. Our former administrator, Mr. Achim Steiner, has said, "Development must be owned and driven by the people. The solutions to today's challenges are not found in boardrooms alone. They are shaped by the lived realities of those most affected." It is in that spirit that WIL and UNDP have convened this forum, not merely as a symbolic gesture, but as a substantive platform for engagement, advocacy, and collaboration. I would like to thank WIL through you, Dr. Fatou Balde, and your whole team for this exceptional initiative for continued dialogue and engagement, and most importantly, a call to action towards never again. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, youth in the Gambia have shown remarkable resilience, creativity, and a deep desire to contribute to national peace building and development. We have seen from the census data that they make up 77% of the population. And through the leadership of the National Youth Council and the Ministry of Youth and Sports, officially launched the National Action Plan for Youth, Peace and Security earlier this year, the 6th country in the whole wide world. The diaspora continues to be an important source of investment, solidarity, and connection to the global perspective. We've seen how many of the Gambians have returned to the country to be in the forefront of transitional justice, economic development, and promoting peace and security in this country. Your experiences, your insights, and your aspirations are therefore relevant and very critical for national development. I hope this dialogue will produce concrete recommendations to help inform policies and strengthen the strategies and action plans that resonate with the diverse stakeholder groups making up the Gambian society. Most importantly, it should contribute to the establishment of stronger networks and partnerships for long-term peace building, to show that the full might and resolve of the people of the Gambia can never be met with any difficulties as the people look forward. I would like to emphasize that transitional justice is not an endpoint. It is a long journey that demands vigilance, active participation, and accountability if we are truly to rebuild trust, restore dignity, and demonstrate a shared commitment to human rights and democratic values. Ladies and gentlemen, currently the 4th International Conference on Financing for Development is happening in Seville, Spain, with the head of the delegation being His Excellency the Vice President. The critical issues that are being discussed at the global level are that there's a huge financing gap if we want to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. And when we have all of these wonderful recommendations, action plans that need to be implemented, they require resources. So even as you deliberate, I think it's very important for us to think about how we're going to be financing these initiatives and making sure that the benefits go to the people, to the people, to the people. That means we should not just remain here in Banjul when we're thinking about implementation, but we should be looking towards how we're going to have a meaningful impact to make sure that we can really use that 77% of the population to drive this nation forward. In conclusion, please allow me to commend all of you by honoring this invitation to participate in this platform and acknowledge that the future of the Gambia lies with you. I thank Will for making this event possible and hope to continue our partnership in promoting transitional justice in the Gambia. Today's event, as I said, is more than a dialogue. Let it ignite renewed commitment to action, deeper engagement, and lasting change. Thank you, and I wish you all a productive day. Abaraka, Njeri Jeff, Jarama.
Thank you so much for that brilliant speech. And I think the highlight of your statement is the fact that transitional justice is a very, very long process. I know all of us as young people, sometimes we're very excited and we want things to happen as soon as possible. But it's a process and we need to follow these processes. And one of the processes is that we are all here today to have the right conversations. And as she mentioned, having the meaningful conversation, the realistic conversations, things that we feel we will be able to achieve, that is not just going to stay in the Greater Banjul area, but it's going to go beyond. Because when it comes to transitional justice, it's not centered. It has to be all over. It has to be diverse. So thank you so much for that brilliant statement. And no, I wasn't actually just promoting UNDP. It's the fact we have seen how UNDP has been accompanying the Gambia when it comes to transitional justice processes. And we really, really appreciate it. We cannot do it without our development partners, such as UNDP. So Will came into Gambia at a very, very crucial stage at the time that Will came. Sexual and gender-based violence, which was perpetrated by the former regime. And just a lot was happening that Will, when it came, things that it's been addressing. A lot of organizations were existing, but the transitional justice touch it gave to its activities just changed the game when it comes to the advocacy of women in the Gambia. So to Will as well, thank you so much for the amazing work that you've been doing in the Gambia. And Yalena Bihuma, you're welcome. And it's so good to see that the team, Fatu, you've done so well with ensuring that your team is very young. You know, your team is very, very young. All these young women who are doing so well, it's a good thing to see. These are some of the things that we want to see organizations take up. A round of applause for Lena. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Geneva, and allow me to stand on existing protocols. Thank you, Madam Mandisa, for that wonderful speech. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'll just start by welcoming you once again to this convening today, one that is centered on meaningful youth and diaspora inclusion in the Gambia's post-TRRC transitional justice journey. And I think Madam Mandisa has done my work for me, and she has mentioned most of the key things that I wanted to highlight. So I'll just focus on extending our deepest gratitude to the UNDP Gambia, to the UN Peacebuilding Fund and OHCHR for their instrumental support in funding and implementing our post-TRRC initiatives. Through this support, we have been able to translate the TRRC's recommendations into concrete actions, spanning justice, reparations, reconciliation, and gender-sensitive measures. Madam Mandisa, the entire WIL team, and Gambian CSO space appreciates your dedicated leadership and UNDP's steadfast commitment to inclusive justice and peace building in the Gambia. I would also like to acknowledge the Ministry of Justice for their continued support and for upholding the TRRC's recommendations and strengthening accountability mechanisms and reconciliation in the Gambia. We also cannot talk about TRRC and its recommendations and post-TRRC without acknowledging NHRC for their proactive efforts in ensuring that accountability is advanced and that the TRRC recommendations implementations are supported. To our vibrant civil society organizations whose ground-level engagement has ensured that no voice is left unheard. To the media, thank you for honoring our invitation and for your unwavering dedication to spreading vital truths and fostering accountability across our nation. To the dynamic youth present here today, your aspirations and drive are what are crucial to Gambia's future. The engaged and passionate diaspora joining us online, your perspectives will enrich and challenge and strengthen our shared vision of national healing. Thank you all for being here today. This forum arrives at a pivotal journey, one in which the TRRC's vital work is behind us, and our part now hinges forward towards ensuring youth and diaspora are central in transitional justice efforts, towards elevating marginalized voices, and an all-around inclusive post-TRRC process where no Gambian is left behind. By the close of this forum, as Madam Mandisa had mentioned rightly, we must not just take these points that we will discuss here today and just go home with them, but put them into actions. So as we conclude, we urge all relevant stakeholders for them to ensure that the efforts are put into the implementation of post-TRRC recommendations. We continue to call on to the media to play its critical role by consistently informing and updating the public on the progresses, on the challenges, and on the milestones of the implementation process. And we encourage youth and members of the diaspora to actively engage in the process through advocacy, dialogue, and community initiatives so that their voices help shape a just and inclusive future rooted in truth and reconciliation. So in conclusion, let us carry forward the energy, insights, and commitments of our youth and diaspora participants and transform today's dialogue into tangible policies, community actions, and collaborative partnerships that drive sustainable peace in the Gambia. Our discussions here are not an endpoint, but a beginning, a promise of shared responsibility, visionary leadership, and lasting impact as we write the next chapter of our nation's reconciliation journey together. To each of you present here, thank you. Your presence signifies belief in a better, fairer, and more inclusive Gambia. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So it's unfortunate that we do not have a representative from the Ministry of Justice, and also we do not have a representative from the National Youth Council. I would have really appreciated it to have either the National Youth Council or the Ministry of Justice, because with that, then government is within and government can sit here and listen to your voices. But the fact that this is on live, Fatu Network, and as well as other media outlets, hopefully they'll be able to follow it there. And after, obviously, the rapporteur has done his or her work, then this can be submitted to them just so that they know what the young people are thinking when it comes to the Gambia's transitional justice process. So if you follow the program guide, you would see that we were supposed to go for a group photo, but just to ensure that our foundation is more solid ahead of the panel discussions, we will invite Dr. Fatou Balde, MBE, to give an overview of the Gambia's transitional justice process, as well as the status of the implementation of TRRC recommendations. So from there, we can just gather outside to have a group photo, and then the actual discussions get to start. So a round of applause for Fatou. Thank you.